Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Jack makes amends with Lee and Finn asks Poppy if he is Luna's father. Wednesday, January 29, 2025. Today on The Bold and the Beautiful, Luna shares her gut feeling with Bill, Jack, and Lee talk, and Finn demands answers as his backstory with Poppy is revealed. All products and services featured are independently chosen by editors. However, soaps.com may receive a commission on orders placed through its retail links, and the retailer may receive certain auditable data for accounting purposes. In Lee's office, Finn paces and then sits down on the sofa. He flashes to Lee saying his relationship with Poppy was special and questioning who Luna's father is. After doing some more pacing, Finn perches on the desk and picks up his phone. He calls Poppy, who is at a coffee shop. She looks nervous about his call and asks what's going on. He wants her to come to his office. She asks if everything is okay. He's not sure and needs to see her right away. After disconnecting, Finn looks through photos on his phone and stops at one of Luna, narrowing his eyes. At Bill's place, he and Luna discuss her ankle monitor. She doesn't mind wearing it and is grateful he got her out. He reminds her this is their secret. She says secrets are something the Nozawas are good at. She rehashes how chaotic her childhood was, they were always moving around, and her mother had her drugs and men. She felt her life was completely consumed by Poppy's. Bill says that's no way to live. Luna recalls having to take care of her hungover mother, who always said they only needed the two of them. She named her Luna because she loved her to the moon and back. But how can that be true when she won't tell her who her father is? Talk turns to Bill's dad. He says he wouldn't be the man he was today if not for his experiences with him. Luna tells him that Poppy's Nozawa power is now meaningless. All it represents is secrets and lies. At Il Giardino, Deacon checks in on Jack, who is expecting someone. Suddenly, Lee appears. Jack thanks her for coming. She tells him they have a lot to talk about. Lee admits she hasn't wanted to see him for a long time, it was too painful. Jack nods, I know. What happened with Sheila? Lee stops him. She doesn't want to talk about it. Jack is sorry for the pain he caused her. I did love you, Lee. I still do. Lee says he has a funny way of showing it. Jack will keep saying he is sorry until she believes him and forgives him. Lee is not sure that day will ever come, but right now, she is the one who needs to apologize, for thinking all those years that he could be Luna's father. In his office, Finn looks up Luna and her crimes online. Poppy knocks and comes in. She asks, is something wrong? Finn isn't sure and puts the question back to her. Poppy admits things have been difficult. Finn saw his mother and he knows about the paternity test. Tom Star wasn't Luna's father. He recaps that his mother ran paternity tests on Tom and Jack, and neither of them are Luna's dad. Poppy knows, she had a front row seat for all of it. It was awful, and intense. Finn is sorry for how his mom handled it all. He hates the way she's treated Poppy. His aunt says it does explain how cold she's been to her over the years. Finn hopes they can fix their relationship. Poppy tells her nephew he doesn't have to worry about her. He has a full life with his career, wife, and family. Finn reflects that the moments with your kids, you can't get them back. To miss out on those would be devastating. He asks, aren't you curious? She asks, about what he replies, who Luna's father is. He asks why she sent back Tom's letters. Poppy says they were fine on their own. Finn argues that not knowing who her father was clearly had an impact on Luna. It may have led her down the road to killing 2 men. His wife was kidnapped and could have been killed. Poppy knows and is really sorry that Luna targeted Steffi. She cries, "I can't even imagine how you're feeling about her." Finn tells Poppy that she needs to be honest with him. Did she keep Tom's letters from Luna because she didn't want him to be her father, or because she knew he wasn't? Poppy wants to know why he's asking these questions. Finn levels, "You know why, Poppy?" At Il Giardino, Deacon serves Lee and Jack food and tells them he thinks Finn would be happy to see the 2 of them together. He walks off and Jack muses, he's not wrong. He's sure their son would like to see them get along. Lee smiles, "We do have an amazing son." They agree that they'll never let anyone take away his happiness. Jack tells Lee he's grateful for the blessing she sees in Finn. She tells him he's her son in every sense of the word. Jack takes her hand and addresses the pain she must have felt over his affair, and thinking he was Luna's father. Lee nods. At Bill's place, Luna tells him she takes full responsibility for her actions. Bill says she can still resent what led to her actions. Luna thinks she deserves to know the truth. She feels it in her gut that Tom is not her father. "After all these years, and I'm still searching for who my father really is." In Finn's office, he tells Poppy he needs answers. "Back when you came to stay with us." Poppy snaps, "That was a long time ago." Finn recalls that he came home one night and went out the window onto the roof to think. Someone else was there. Poppy recalls that they talked until the sun came up and watched the fog lift like it was magic. She'd never been able to talk like that with anyone. Finn knew who she was, but she wasn't around a lot growing up. Poppy muses that she was gone as soon as she had her driver's license. She was a free spirit, but she went from town to town looking for a connection, a place to belong. "Most of the time I was just lonely." Finn thinks that's why she came to stay with them. "How many hours did we spend on the roof?" Poppy replies, "A lot." That place was theirs, to laugh, confide in one another, and love. "One night we couldn't help ourselves and we went into your room." Finn nods, "You were my first and it was an incredible connection. There was nothing wrong with it. I'm adopted and was of age." In retrospect, over the years, he's realized how wrong that was, but she changed his life. Poppy says, "You changed mine." Finn says that's his concern. What exactly did he do to impact her life? Poppy reminds him they agreed not to speak of this. Finn has a terrible feeling. "When you told me you were pregnant, you swore it couldn't be mine, but then you were gone." Turning stern, Finn demands, "You need to tell me. You need to tell me the truth. If there is any chance at all that Luna could be my daughter. You need to give it to me straight, Poppy. The truth. Am I Luna's father?" Jack makes amends with Lee. It had been a long, slow walk back to Lee's apartment, with the kind of heavy silence that only the aftermath of betrayal could create. Jack's feet dragged on the cracked pavement, his mind clouded by guilt, regret, and the unmistakable weight of his own choices. He knew he had to fix things, but the question was, how the door to Lee's apartment was ajar, just like it had been the last time Jack had been here. That time had been different. He had been here with promises, with laughter, with a sense of certainty about their friendship. Now, there was only emptiness. The familiar smell of incense and jasmine, which once filled the room with warmth, felt cold and distant. Jack stepped inside, hesitating for a moment when he saw Lee sitting cross-legged on the floor, staring at nothing in particular. Lee's usually sharp eyes were dull, the glint of anger replaced by something quieter, sadder. Jack cleared his throat, and the sound felt too loud in the quiet room. Lee, he started, but his voice faltered. Lee, didn't he look up? He didn't he need to. I thought you were different, Lee said, his voice low and almost inaudible. I trusted you, Jack. And you? You broke that trust. For what a moment of weakness. Jack winced, the words like daggers piercing through the barrier he'd built around himself. I didn't mean for it to happen like that, he said, the sincerity in his tone finally breaking through the wall he had erected to protect himself. I didn't know what I was doing. Lee slowly turned his head, his eyes sharp and accusing. You never know what you're doing, Jack. You never stop to think about the consequences of your actions. You just move through life as if everything can be fixed with an apology. The sting of truth in Lee's words made Jack swallow hard. He had been running for so long, avoiding the tough conversations, the real emotions. But this time, it wasn't going to be enough to offer another half-hearted apology. This time, he had to show Lee that he understood the gravity of what he'd done. I'm sorry, Lee. For everything, Jack said, his voice shaking with the weight of his regret. For not seeing how much you mean to me. For making you feel like you weren't important. You are important. You always were, and I'm willing to prove it. Lee's eyes softened, but only slightly. He stood up, moving toward the small window that overlooked the city. I don't know if an apology is enough, Jack, he said quietly, as if pondering the answer to his own question. But I'm listening. So. Prove it. Jack nodded, a lump rising in his throat. He didn't have all the answers. But he had one thing he could give, his effort, his honesty. I will. I don't know how long it will take, but I'll show you that I'm not the person you think I am. I'm not perfect, but I'm trying. For you. For our friendship. Lee turned, a flicker of hope in his eyes. He didn't say anything at first, but the shift in his posture was enough to tell Jack that maybe, just maybe, there was a chance for them to rebuild what had been broken. Finn asks Poppy if he's Luna's father. Finn had been waiting for this moment for what felt like a lifetime. His heart pounded in his chest, and his palms were slick with nervous sweat. He had always known this conversation would come one day, but the reality of it was far scarier than he'd imagined. He stood in Poppy's small kitchen, watching her stir the coffee pot absently, the soft hum of the brewing coffee filling the space between them. Poppy, Finn said, his voice quieter than he intended, like the words themselves were afraid to break the silence. She turned toward him, her brows knitting together slightly in that way she did when she was confused or uncertain. What is it? She asked, leaning against the counter, her eyes soft but guarded. Finn opened his mouth, then closed it again, unsure how to approach the question without sounding desperate. Is Luna mine? He asked, the words slipping out before he could stop them. The question hung in the air like a weight neither of them could escape. Poppy blinked, the stirring of the coffee coming to an abrupt halt. Her lips parted, but no words came out. For a long, agonizing moment, she simply stared at him, her eyes unreadable. Finn's heart thudded in his chest, louder now, like a drumbeat he couldn't ignore. Finn, I don't, she started, but she trailed off. There was hesitation in her voice, and it cut through Finn like a blade. I never told you about Luna's father. You didn't ask before, and I didn't think it was important. He took a step forward, his breath catching. But it matters now, Poppy. It matters to me. I've spent years wondering, hoping. If I'm the father. If she's mine. His voice broke slightly, the weight of it all pressing down on him. Poppy set the spoon down and folded her arms, a defensive gesture Finn had seen 1,000 times. "Finn, why now?" she asked, her voice a mix of confusion and something else, something he couldn't quite place. He exhaled, running a hand through his hair. "Because I need to know. I need to know if she's mine so I can be a part of her life in the way I should have been. I don't care about the past anymore, Poppy. I just need to know." Poppy's gaze softened then, and she took a step closer to him. "It's complicated, Finn," she said quietly. "But you deserve to know. We both do." Her words were careful, measured, as though she were weighing each one against the truth she had to reveal. Finn's heart hammered in his chest. "What are you saying?" he asked, his voice barely a whisper. Poppy looked down for a moment, then met his eyes. There was a flicker of vulnerability in her expression, and for the first time in a long while, Finn felt like he was seeing the real Poppy, not the guarded woman who had built walls around herself. "Luna. She's yours, Finn," Poppy said softly. "I never told you because I didn't want to drag you into my mess. I wanted to protect you from all the things I couldn't control. But she's your daughter, and I should have told you from the beginning." Finn felt a rush of emotion, relief, joy, guilt flood his chest all at once. He couldn't speak at first, his mind spinning as the reality of it all set in. Luna was his. He was her father. The silence between them felt different now, filled with the unspoken understanding of what was to come. Finn stepped forward, reaching out and gently taking Poppy's hand. "Thank you," he whispered, his voice thick with emotion. "Thank you for telling me." Poppy squeezed his hand, her expression softening. "I never wanted to keep you from her, Finn. But we've both made mistakes. Now we have to figure out how to move forward. For Luna. For us." Finn nodded, feeling a sense of clarity that he hadn't known he needed. There were many things they had to work through, but now that he knew the truth, he could face it all. He wasn't just a man in the dark anymore. He was Luna's father. And that meant everything.